we're going to talk about building a simple strategy using Visual JForex. As you may notice, each week we have a topic regarding Visual JForex. Last week was the introduction. This week is going to be building simple strategy. And then next week we're going to go through some specific blocks, explain them and go through their use, and then till building complex strategies. Well, today we're going to talk about simple strategy. Feel free to raise any question on the chat section on the left side of the whiteboard. And today we're gonna use like a strategy using a couple of indicators. A specific use of the indicator using the shift values, just to check when an indicator is going up or down. And then based on these conditions, we'll decide to go long or short, and we'll be like complicating the strategy a little bit just to make it more interesting. So as you can see, we've got the Visual JForex platform. So first of all, don't forget to be logged in through the community in here. So first of all, you need to log in with your community credentials, just to make sure your account is up and running, and then don't forget to link your account to JForex, and then for testing issues, for testing purpose, you have to have your demo account up and running, or live account for sure. So here we go. So for this strategy, we're going to use like basic moving average indicator. Let's say the EMA. We're going to use two blocks of the same EMA, same period. And let's assume that first of all we're going to trade on the euro dollar, and then we're going to trade on 10 minutes period. So in here, as you can see, these default variables, feel free to change them by just one click, and then through the drop-down list you've got all your currency pairs. So I'm going to leave it as euro dollar. Also on the default variable in here, you've got your default variable. If you change this from this pop-up window, it's going to be changed in your entire strategy. So if you change it one time, so for me it's better to change the period, for instance, from this panel. If you want to trade on like 5 minutes, just edit this variable and put it 5 minutes, for instance, and then you've got your default period as 5 minutes saved, and just drag and drop it this way, default period, in here as well. Delete this and then replace it by the default period. Just when you put your pointer on the variable, you should be able to see the default period. Alright, so as a starter, I need to declare and to say that I'm gonna trade on euro dollar, and I'm gonna trade on 10 minutes period. So for this, I need to use two simple if conditions. So first condition will be linked to the candle, because I want to trade on 5 minutes candles. So first condition will be the default period, or let's start with the default instrument. My instrument in here I want it to be the euro dollar, which should be equal in here to, let's assume, my last bit candle instrument. In here I can choose the last ask, but either ways it just like doesn't make a lot of difference if you use last candle or bid candle. Either way it's gonna be euro dollar. So let's assume that I'm gonna use the bid candle, and in here, as you can see, I've just dropped two Boolean variables in here, and automatically the if block, which is originally has three outputs in here, three exits, less, greater, or equal. When I use Boolean variables, and as you can understand, maybe some of you know that Boolean variables could take only two values, true or false. So in this case, my if block turns automatically to two exits, which is equal or not equal, and that's it, because I'm using two Boolean variables. If I want to use like integers or double variables, let's say in here, my if block will keep its three exits equal, greater, or less. So my first condition is going to be just a double check on the default instrument, which should be the euro dollar. In our case, at least, we can subscribe to whatever instrument we want, available on Dukascopy platform. And the period should be in here, as we said, it's 5 minutes. My period should be equal to the default period. My candle period should be equal to the default period. And here I've used as well a specific variable type, which is a period type. We can go later on the next webinars on the variable types that we can find actually in here. There's some of them that are quite standard, and some others are specifically used by Dukascopy, like periods, states of an order, position that belongs to specific forex trading. So in here, the variable with type period could take only the period variable. So in here, my two variables default period should be equal to 5 minutes. And I will have to choose the exit, which is equal in here. Okay. These two conditions, we can call them like filters or subscription, or you can use actually a group like this and name it. Right click, create group, and edit the name, and you call them like instrument filter, instrument, and period filters. For instance, just an example, when you want to expand it, it's just you click on this sign in here, and then back to the previous view. Okay, so we're going to use these two indicators. I've got an EMA subscribed on the euro dollar, and I'm going to use for my EMA the shift value. So what is the shift value? Basically, when you use a shift value, that means that you will have a previous look. I mean, you will retrieve the value of the previous shift of your indicator. So if I go back to JForex, just to, let's go out from this Java code. All right, so if I Okay, so if I consider this, let me zoom in just to make sure this thing is clear. So here is my current value with shift 0 based on 5 minutes candle on euro dollar for this EMA period 20. And if I put shift 1, that means that I will get back to the last candle, which is this one, and my value should be this one. Just to make sure, if I use shift 2, I will have a look on this variable right here, which is equal basically to 134,970. It's quite hard to see, but just to make sure everything is crystal clear. All right, so in here, I'm gonna change my value. I will have a look to, okay, one click, you confirm it and you put 1. And then in here, just to make things clearer and understandable, you should rename your variables like EMA. Instead of EMA 10, I could put my name of indicator, period, 14, and current status, like, is it the actual one or previous one, etc. Or you can put shift 0, actually, just shift 0. And then in here, same thing, edit variable, I can put as well the name of the indicator, its time period, and then shift 1, for instance. All right, so I'm gonna introduce just to make a complete example, I'm gonna keep using this indicator, EMA. I can use another one actually, but just to explain the use of the time period as well. So I can use the same thing. You can use whatever indicator you want. In here, I'm gonna change the time period. For instance, I'm gonna say this is like 7 for time period, for instance, and this is as well 7. And then in here, make sure this will took the default period by default, like this, connecting all the blocks together. And then in here, I'm gonna use same like my example. As you can see in here, it's completely exactly the same. I'm gonna use in here the shift 1 as well. So basically, and I'm gonna rename my variables the same way that I've made for previous one. So EMA 7, and then shift what? Shift 0. Same case in here, EMA 7. Oops, 7, and then shift 1. Correct. Alright, so in here, what I've made exactly is that I've built 2 indicators like EMA. I'm gonna edit this one and I put it 14, 1, 4, okay, and this one is 8. I'm gonna change it to 7. Alright, here is what I've made actually with these 4 blocks, is building this indicator and this indicator on euro dollar 5 minutes period. That's it. Okay, you can create another group. I can basically call whatever I want this group. But in here I'm gonna start my trading conditions. So what I want to do is to check the current trend of my two indicators. I want to check for a cross and double check for the trend of the indicators. So what I want to do is to check if the EMA 7 is less than the EMA, the previous point of the EMA 7 as well. So this means that I want to check if my EMA 7, this one, is going up or down. So I need to compare 2 points, which is current and previous, like in this case. This is the current, this is the previous. So the current is less than the previous. That means that the indicator is going down. So in here we should use simple condition and connect it for sure to its. Okay, I'm gonna just zoom out like this, but make sure the board is clear for everyone. Okay, so comparing the EMA shift 0 with the EMA shift, oops, I want the block, okay, this is correct. I've got my two values of the EMA. I'm going to use another if block as well. So EMA 7 and EMA shift 0 and shift 1, which means current and previous. And I'm gonna choose the exit from this less, because I want that the current value is less than the previous value. So first variable less than the second variable. Same thing in here. I'm going to use my first indicator with shift 0 and shift 1, current and previous as well. And I'm going to choose another condition just to make sure that I have a cross condition. So how can I check this? Just comparing the value of the two indicators. If my indicator with time period 14 is more than time period 7, that means that there was a cross. And how do we do this? It's just like we use the same if block, and we check, like, let's take an example in here. Bear in mind that we're going to use this exit as we used in this one, so same logic. And for this second block, I'm going to check if my previous value of my indicators just made a cross or not. So just to compare, basically I'm going to use only shift 1, but I'm going to use these two. So EMA, nope, I want to select my variable like this. Okay, so this is shift 1 for EMA 14, same thing for EMA 7. Okay, so, and then let's assume that if the EMA with time period 14 crosses the EMA with time period 7, then I will perform a trading action, and I'll open short using this block, open at market, and I'm gonna choose this output in here, and same logic from the other side. Actually, you can use copy paste option, which is quite easy to do. So right click. Unfortunately, we cannot see the right click menu, but in this menu you should be able to see copy block, delete block, or create group. So it's quite simple. So the other output should follow the same logic. Let me zoom in. But we'll be comparing as we've made for the short side. In here we should have a cell side, and on the other side we should be able to do the opposite logic, which is exactly the same, but we're gonna choose the other output instead of this output, right? And in here I'm gonna use the same copy paste to do it quickly. That's correct. And then I will use another block with trading decision, and this time I will go long. As we in here I need to choose this exit from the less. Let me double check. So make sure your flow is logic and the long and short flows seems to be okay. Yeah, so that's good. In here all is okay. So we are ready to test using this menu. Either you go to compiler and run. If you want to build your strategy, you should save it before and then build it, and then you'll be able to see it under your strategies, under my strategies, like these ones. And if you right click, you'll be able to see the source of your strategy in Java language. Simply copy paste it in your JForex editor, and if you're an experienced programmer, you can simply change straightforward your variables and edit them, and then recompile from JForex and run it. Otherwise, yeah, simply build your strategy using JForex and feel free to paste it in a code editor in JForex. So in here, I've got a menu. Please connect a start point even to a strategy and connect all the blocks. This is like a warning message. That means that I have I have to look for my strategy in here. See, this is an if block with a red highlight, and this means that my block is not filled properly. So I need to fill it properly, and then it will be turned to gray. So remember, this one was the filter, and I should say that my default period should be equal to my candle period, like this, and then connect my block, and here it turns to gray. All right. We've got a question from guest 93. I'm a new person to join Forex. What should I do? If you're talking about Visual JForex, the strategy builder tool, simply connect to community and you can start using them. If you're talking about something else, you could send an email to info@dukascopy.com. But for Visual JForex, simply with a community account, you should be able to log in from our website under trading and Visual JForex and then launch it, and you will see into your browser this platform. So, alright, I should be able to test it now. All my books are connected and all seems to be properly made. Let me choose the last week for testing purpose. Okay. So in here, as you can see, the Visual JForex is building the needed data for testing purpose. Once this red line is fully filled, like till the end, you should see a pop-up window like this exactly, which will display the historical data from the last week for our case. First thing, make sure to select your default period, because when it comes to indicators, sometimes if you're checking like 30 minutes period, it's not correct. And by default, let me put pause in here and go back to it. Alright. So in here, by default, when this window historical tester is popped up, it will be displayed as 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 1 hour. So make sure you putting your correct and default variable. And when you call your indicators, you should be able to call them from this button FX, and then like we used to do in JForex, exactly the same way, and then set your indicator, like instead of 30 I need 14. Change the color, whatever, the outline, and simply click OK, and you'll be able to see your as you can see in here, we've got lot of positions, long and short, and all of them, every single candle, I have a position created. And all these blue lines and red lines, meaning that this position were closed either by stop loss or take profit, or so. In order to avoid these multi like trading, I don't want to trade a lot of positions like this in every single candle, and every time my two indicators, let me call the second one EMA, we've said it's period equal to 7, and I'm going to change the color to red just to distinguish it, and put with 2. That's correct. Okay, so the blue is 14, the red is 7. As you can see in here, I check the previous values. If they are all okay, I'll go short, because I had a cross in here, and then I'll go short in this point and keep going short till these conditions are verified. That means the EMA 14 is greater than the EMA time period 7, and they keep going down till the trend changes at this level exactly. And then, as you can see, there's no like red triangle but blue ones, which means that I'm going long. But in our case, this is like the conditions are verified. That's okay. How can we do to avoid these multiple positions that costs a lot of commission? So this is quite simple using Visual JForex. You have two ways. Either you want to trade and putting like simple condition, and you say that I'm going to trade position at once. Like when I open a position, I want to wait till this position is out from the market by take profit, stop loss, or whatever. And once it's done, I will check my conditions again, and I will enter into the market. This is simply can be done by an if condition, like you click on this, drag your if block, and you can actually go to this section under the position information. As you can see in here, we have, I'm gonna minimize, okay, I'm gonna minimize the chat section just to make sure this is clear. So I've got an open position variable, which is position type, and I can use actually open position amount variable into an if condition, and I can like put equals. If it is equal to 1, my open positions are equal to 1, that means that the flow will go, otherwise nothing. It's kind of filter. You can say, like, if you want to trade, if you want to enter into the market when these two indicators are going down, and exit when the trend is like changes into the opposite way, like in this example in here, let's explain it. If the cross is made, it's okay, and the trend is going up, I'll be long, let's assume, in this point, and once the cross is over and the trend is on the other side, let's assume that I'll exit my position. So from this point to this point, that means that we have like 13 pips of profit. In this case, you need to change a little bit your strategy and introduce what we call triggers. Triggers, it's a Boolean variable which is used to trigger an event if your like short or long decisions are ready to go or not, depending on your conditions. So let's try to implement these two. We will need in here, because we have short and long sides, we will need two variables, two Boolean variables. I can create them from this button in here in the menu. So make sure you select your type in here. So I will name it like go short, for instance, which will take the variable true, and same thing, go long, which will by default will be a Boolean variable and will start with value true. That's correct. All is okay. So in here, once my condition, I'm gonna disconnect these two blocks, because I'm gonna use an if condition in here this way. Okay. So what's happening in here? I'm on the short flow, and I should check if my go short value is equal to true. And this, so in here it was this value is less than this value, and from this end I'll check it this way. Okay, linked, and then I'll connect it to my, okay, but actually my go short variable is by default equal to true, So in here, nothing is changed. Each time the flow will go over these conditions, the go short variable is usually equal to true, and the flow will go over, and I will have several positions short opened every single candle of 5 minutes. So at the end of my trading decision open at market, once the fill is okay, or once the submit is okay, make sure you choose your exit from here. But the difference between submit okay and fills okay, actually it's once the order is out from the platform and not yet filled, or if you want to wait till your order gets acknowledged and fill message received and fully executed, let's say. In this case, in here, I will use a block to assign, to change the value of my Boolean in here. So the assign is quite simple for you. So I'm gonna choose the fill OK output, and in here, let's zoom in just to explain. In here, I should put my variable, and from this input, I should select the assigned variable. So if I'm gonna use my go short variable, which is by default equal to true, the assigned value, once the fill is okay, should change to false. That makes sense. And then on the other side, I will go the same logic. Okay, so simply let's copy and paste just to save time. In here, I should use I'm check if there's questions. Nope. I should use the opposite way, so the go long. Okay, and I need to put my condition before my buy. Make sure I'm selecting right here, correct. And then same, the opposite logic is to assign, once my buy position is filled, message received, I should be able to assign to this go long variable the opposite. Oh, let me drag and drop it again. Yep, the opposite value, which is false. All right, so let's explain this another time. I'm gonna stop this. Okay, so the flow will go over here. My go short variable is by default equal to true. I'm gonna go short into the market. Once my order is filled, I will assign this value false to go short, and then if the flow is happening again in here, I will be blocked at this level because my go short variable is already assigned to the value false. But in here, same logic. At one time, I will have, if I test my strategy right now, I will have two positions, one short, one long, and that's it, because my two variables are short and long is blocking actually the flow over here. So I should use another assign block just to trigger the other side. Let's say if I'm already short into the market, I should assign like the value true to the other side in order to be able to go long if the other condition are verified. So just copy block and paste block in here. Let me zoom in. All right, so I link it simply. The assign block has only two, one in, one out. That's it. And I should assign the value not false but true to my go long. Actually, in here I have a mistake, so I should be able to use this one like this. Oops. Okay, so my go long will take the value true. That makes sense. So if my go long is true, I'll buy position field. Okay, I'll assign the value false to go long, and then back copy and paste. Sometimes the copy paste feature doesn't work really good, but be able to find it somewhere in the workspace. Just zoom out and you'll find your block somewhere. So go long is false, and then I should assign to go short the value true just to trigger it from the other side. Close, I'm gonna delete it, and then simply one click and assign the value true. I think it's okay. So I'll assign the value false to go short and then true to the go long. Same logic in here. I assign the go long to false and then go short to true. Okay, that means that basically I'll be able to see my positions last week as well. Okay, let's check this. Back to the historical tester. Five minutes again. Okay, as you can see in here, we're not gonna follow the entire test, but just a couple of examples. Let me insert the EMA. EMA 14 in blue line like this. And EMA with time period 7. Let's put it in red as well. Unfortunately, we don't have any shortcut for the moment to call this indicator just in straightforward mode, but we'll probably do it later on. So as you can see in here, when the trend is going up, I have my cross done. I'll go long, and once the condition in here is still verified, my EMA in red outlined is greater than the 14, the blue one. In here, I've got a cross. Okay, I'll wait till the cross is confirmed, and I'll check my previous candle. It's okay, and then close my. I'll go short. I'm not closing any position because my position will be closed by a simple stop loss, and I'll go again till the trend is going down, and once it's a little bit, there's in here some minor change. As you can see, it's very sensitive, so I'm already long in here, and again short in this candle. So it's much more cleaner. You're following the trend of the two your indicators, and it's a good way to check. I mean, basically for me, I prefer this way. Now you can make it more complex, but basically we're talking about simple strategies, but this is actually a good way to understand and use the indicators with their shift values, how to follow them, how to trade per side. Let's say if the side is going up or down. This is quite interesting. But you can actually add, if we have some time, like add another feature, is that we want to close the position. If we go back to the strategy, okay, so let's assume the following. If I'm going in here, I'm already long, okay. If the trend is on the other side, I need to close my position right here and not waiting for any stop loss or take profit. Whatever the price is, once the cross is made and once the trend is confirmed to be going down, I need to close my previous position. So this could be used with a block, used position viewer, etc., but it's quite complicated, and let's leave it for next webinar about these specific use. But we can actually try to do this using using a simple block. First of all, I need to delete the take profit. First of all, I need to stop my testing. So no take profit is needed. Okay, no stop loss as well. Let's keep this default slippage to 5 pips in here as well. And so actually there's absolutely no exit. Okay, I'm gonna use a block which is called multiple action. This block will distribute the flow by order. So he has one like input in here, and it distributes the flow equally by order. So the first one will go in here, the second one, etc. So imagine in here I'm on the short side. Okay, so once my condition in here, I'm gonna keep it, but before going into the market, I need first of all, let's drag and drop these blocks just to make them. Oh, I lost no, this is wrong. I'm gonna delete this variable. So in here, let's recover this. False to go short, and then true, close, nope. I need the long, yeah. Go long equal to true. Alright, this is correct. Okay, so back to, I wanted just to drag this one this way. Okay, so first of all, I want to close my position, but which one? It would be the long one. So in here, I'm gonna use my position output and create a variable just to identify my position. Long position, okay. So my long position were identified. Each time they're created, they will be like stored in this variable, and in here I can use this in order to close it, and then as a second flow in a row we should be able to create the sell position, which is the short one, and that seems to be correct. And we should create the same like logic from the other side. And here I can show you a way how to rearrange your blocks, just use multiple selection and then drag and drop them this way. hop, and it's arranged. Same thing, we're gonna use multiple action and zoom in. I have 10 minutes left. Okay, so the output should be equal from this way. Alright, so first thing I need to close my position, but this time it's not gonna be the long but the other way. So I should identify my short positions by creating a variable alright, and then use it in here. That's correct. So first flow, closing the short positions. Second flow is create the long positions. And by this way, you'll be able to each time before going into the market, you should be able to see your previous position closed. And let's go back and see the historical tester. All right, spend it, period 5 minutes. We're not going to call the the indicators, but just as you can see, it's quite obvious that the indicator is going up. It's okay. Long position. Each time the trend is moving to the other way, it's quite profitable. As you can see in here, I have a short positions closed down, which means with profit. This one is not that profitable. This one as well. This one is with profit. And each time the trend is changing, and before going into the market, I'll make sure my previous position are closed. So this is like a simple way to use like logical conditions, but without using like these complex blocks like loop viewer and position viewer. So that's it. We've got our strategy in here. Hope you enjoyed this. That was fairly simple strategy using logical conditions and like triggers with booleans and multiple action block. It's still you can actually use several indicators and make sure your strategy is tested over a period like a year or more. And if you have questions, feel free to raise them. Otherwise, we're gonna probably end our webinar. Feel free also to create your groups just to arrange and make it more understandable, even for troubleshooting, like make sure your variables are renamed properly in order to recognize them just by one look. And once your strategy is done, you could save it, build it straightforward, untitled strategy webinar. Oops. Webinar of the 5th November, let's say, and then I'll click on save, and my strategy should be built successfully, and I'll be able to, as I told you previously, to find it in here. So no questions so far. Feel free to raise them probably in our forum in English. we do have support for several languages as well. So thanks for following. See you next time. Bye.